guys and dolls, Freedom Dad here, and as promised, I did say I was going to come and do a reply to the Irish Mail on Sunday. So, a couple of things I need to say about the Irish Mail. Um, you know, straight away they were talking about anti-immigration. I'm not anti-immigration. I've recorded the call and I'll show you that bit where I've explained that bit there, that it's not about anti-immigration. It's, I'm not going to get into it. You know me, use 500 videos, I don't need to explain myself to you guys, right? The other thing is as well, when I'm talking about my country, that's what I'm talking about. The Union Jack. When I talk about my country, I'm talking about Union Jack. So what they've said, they're saying I'm talking about Northern Ireland, about grooming gangs in Northern Ireland. I'm not talking about grooming gangs in Northern Ireland. I'm talking about grooming gangs in our other countries, part of the United Kingdom. That's happening. So what the papers have done, they went to the PSNI in Northern Ireland and went, oh, is there grooming gangs? This guy's saying there's grooming gangs in Northern Ireland. And the PNSA have replied, no, we don't know anything about grooming gangs in Northern Ireland. But so let's address that. Has there ever been grooming gangs in Northern Ireland? Well, it depends what you call grooming gangs. Kids in children's homes, kids in some sort of care. I'm not going to say any names because we all know the names, don't we, guys and dolls in Northern Ireland and Ireland? We all know who was abusing our kids back in the day in our country. Priests, ministers, people that were looking after our vulnerable children were taking advantage of them. Now, whether you want to call it a grooming or not, this grooming thing is just, grooming is not the right word. Grooming is like when you groom a horse. When somebody gets groomed, you're looking after yourself. So it's very peculiar the way we use and the words that we use about the absolute desolation, this desecration of some of the children from some of the most deprived areas in our areas in Britain. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you what the problem is, right? This is what the problem is, guys. Yeah, okay, yeah. Look, we're having an amazing time. We're building our bonfires. Our kids are running about the park. We don't have any worries. But Ireland does. Ireland's got women being followed. They've got children being snatched. England, they've got 1,400 children in one town, covered up by social work and the police. 50 cities up and down the breadth of England and Scotland. Children from children's homes. Now when you think the Irish newspaper would have thought to themselves, like, surely this guy's saying all this, and he's saying it's predominantly Pakistani Muslim men. Surely, they're trying to say that I'm some sort of far right and connect me with Conor McGregor and connect me with. They're saying that these guys that organised protests in Dublin were far right. I know nothing about far right. I don't hear any racist slurs or people saying we don't want blacks and all that. And I never see any of that at any demos that I go to all around. You know what I mean? So again, it's the words. See the words, the far right, the grooming. See the way they do everything. You know what I mean? So the facts of the matter is this. This is the facts of the matter. Irish Mail on Sunday. Right in this minute, in this wee country of mine, Northern Ireland, we live in pretty much peaceful times and our children are pretty much able to run about the parks and enjoy themselves. But that isn't going to last for long. And that's the truth. This is the bit that you aren't getting. This is the bit you are hiding from the public. You don't want to find the truth out. You don't want to tell everybody what's coming because you are all taking the money. You media are as responsible as the government, as the men that are grooming these children in England. You are as responsible as them men for not coming out and telling the people of Northern Ireland and Ireland what is coming, what the British government are letting into the country, and how these people can come from Scotland, England, Wales, Northern Ireland, Dublin, Belfast, Scotland, England, Belfast, Dublin, Limerick. Not a bit of ID, not one bit of ID, right? So that's the problem, okay? We see what's going on. We citizen journalists are walking about the country interviewing people, speaking to victims. Okay, we're all over the place because you won't report on it, so we've got to report on it. And like I say, this just proves to all my community, all my new followers, what the newspapers are all about and how you're against the working class people of this country. And I did tell you, you're going to lose your jobs because we are the new media, because we're the only one telling the truth. I'm here to warn my community what's coming. I'm here to warn my friends who have children, who are about to have grandchildren, what's going to come here if we're not careful. Because the government will not do anything about it. They cover it up. Social work cover it up. Listen to what I'm saying. The policemen let these grown adults, Muslim Pakistani men, drive away with these children in the back of their cars. The children home staff members seen these Muslim men dropping the children back. Fathers who want to get these children out of these Muslim Pakistani men's houses were arrested. Is that what you want coming to Ireland? Because we don't want to come into Northern Ireland, whether you're a Protestant or a Catholic, because I've checked. We're all the same in this one. They're no welcome here. We do not want undocumented males coming into this country, unvetted, dangerous people, people who other Muslim countries don't want. And let me just correct something. When I was talking, because I'm going to show you a wee video in a minute. When I said something about when the Palestinians and how they might be coming here because of the rhetoric with the Sinn Féin and all that, and the British government, you know what I mean, and the Irish government, you know, every one of them are implicit in what's going on with our children, you know. And, you know, at the end of the day, another thing as well, I'm going to keep making this point very clearly. It's not their children. They do not do this to their children. It's only our children. And the thing about, you know, the thing about the difference with sexual abuse with these men and our men, right, is our men don't care what religion you are or what colour you are. These men are very, very specific not to do it to their own. And that's the scariest thing. That takes it to another level of horror for me. For me being a father of a 6-month-old daughter who is 55 and doesn't know how long he's got left. And like quite a lot of my mates, they're seeing their grandchildren. Well, my mates have had children a lot earlier than me. So they're seeing their grandchildren. They're thinking, well, if I'm not here any longer, what's going to happen with my children if we don't have the right government then? We need a government that's strong. We need a working class government. We don't need any more private school boys. We don't need any more rich boys. Just because you've got money doesn't give you a right to run a country because you are failing miserably at it. Absolute 100 years of absolute nonsense. You've got Jimmy Savile. You've got all the carry on with the politicians, and that's what I was talking about. Or telling them what was going on. You know, when I said my country in England in the 70s and 80s, they were grooming children's home kids then. And they were politicians, and MI5 know about it. You know, MI5 know about it. That's who's in charge. That's who we're putting in power. 50 members of the Labour Party. And I'm being conservative with this number, guys. Do your research. Let's research it. You don't need to rely on Freedom Dad. I give you the information. You do your own research. I have the receipts. Always got the receipts. And so these are the men who are in charge. And these are the men who are in charge in the Irish Mail on Sunday. You understand? This is why the Irish Mail, instead of going, hold on a minute, this guy's got saying some serious stuff here. Maybe we should ask him, what actually is going on in England? What have you seen? What have you heard? Because I could have told her stuff that would have made her stomach churn. I know stuff in my head that's happened to them girls that would devastate any man or woman, but we can't even talk about it online. Never mind on TV or anywhere else. There's certain people I just wouldn't tell them. They wouldn't be ready for what I know that's happened to these girls. It's all in the transcripts of all the grooming trial, all the grooming gang trials. It's in the transcripts of what these men have done to these girls. And I'm terrified of that happening in my country, and that's all it is. We're not far right, we're not racist, we're not anti-immigration. You know, we want decent people, we want Christian people, men, women and children are around this world getting persecuted because they're in Muslim countries. They're the ones that should be coming here, not the men that are persecuting them in Muslim countries. They're coming here. We're getting the worst of the worst. Even Muslim leaders around the world are telling Britain, yous are mad. We wouldn't even take these men, and you're taking them. And the problem is, in Northern Ireland, in my beautiful country, where our children are able to run about the park and we don't worry, we don't have any fear of predators and people hanging about parks taking photographs for our children just yet. But we're going to keep it. Make sure it's never ever going to be a yet. And this is what it's about. This is to let everybody else know in my community what's going on over there and how it's being silenced and how you're going to see what the papers do to me and how they're maybe trying to put me in prison. But the thing is, they institutionalise me at a very young age so they can put me in prison, you know, because I know more men will come behind me. You know, because some else men have to stand up. Some else men have done the prison have to stand up and take a chance because it's only real men that can do this. Men that know that they can do prison. They're not going to be compromised. And on that note, I just want to clear this up as well. So, obviously it's come out. A lot of people might have been a bit shocked. My community aren't shocked because they know me. But the community on the internet know all this as well. So this is for new people. So the Irish Mail on Sunday like to bring out that I was working for Special Branch. And the bottom line is, it's like, I have to be very careful what I say. So I got arrested in Northern Ireland, brought to Scotland for 5 bank robberies. Okay. They said they had my fingerprint on a counter of a bank, which I knew wasn't mine. I spent a year on remand getting rid of that fingerprint. They turned my co-accused, who turned Queen's evidence against me. The only evidence they had no fingerprints, no DNA, and the only evidence was this man saying I did it, along with my other co-accused, and me saying I never did it. That was it. They couldn't even tell you what car was used in any of the bank robberies. No clue, nothing. Okay? Now, my co-accused got immunity from prosecution to put us away. My other co-accused pled guilty as soon as he went into the witness box. They got 5 years. I got 18 years. I've never had bail in my life. Okay? So I'm not going to say any more about it. I'm sure you can imagine, use your own heads, the situation I was in. I was looking at 18 to 22 years. If I had been found guilty for the 5, I would have been 22 years. This guy was my best friend for 10 years. It was my defence. I have to be careful what I say because it was my defence. I'm not going to admit or deny anything. You can use your own heads. But at the end of the day, I am who I am. I'm a loyal man. I'm a very loyal man. I'm a very loyal man to my country. And, and that's the problem. They don't like it because they'll never compromise me. The government will never, ever compromise me with money or with anything, with prison. They can never scare me. They'll never do nothing because I'm going to do everything to make sure this beautiful country of ours, this beautiful culture of ours remains for a very, very long time. I'm Freedom Dad, and God bless. It's starting to get annoying. What can I do for you? Go ahead, what is it? What can I do for you? You're going to end up losing your job. You're not going to be working in journalism for long because we're going to end up taking your job because people are going to come watching us and not watching you. What did you think of it saying? I'm not against violence. I wouldn't hurt a woman or anything like that. I'm not like that. We're peaceful people. We're going forward peaceful. There's not a bit of violence in our body. We're trying to stop our kids fighting each other. We're nothing but peaceful. But this is your problem. You're constantly trying to pull the burst out of people instead of looking for the good for once. We're not trying to do any bad for your country. We're trying to do something good for once. Has it for our next generation? Your generation? For your kids and your grandkids? Can't you see that? Or have you got a house in another country you can go to? Yes, just like Jerry Adams and Martin McGuinness. What's the point? Right. Yeah. Right. What do you want from me? What do you want? What do you want me to do? What's wrong with what I'm doing? I think it's a big step in the right direction for an ex-loyalist and a Protestant to be able to stand in Dublin amongst all them Republicans with tricolours and be welcomed and have people say hello to me and recognise me from the internet. I stood up on a lamppost. Every single person walked by me. I've got it in video. I've got it on my TikTok. It's on my YouTube. I was there in plain sight. I've got 500 videos on YouTube. I'm well known. That's how we work. I don't want to be a big YouTuber. I want to be able to interact with my community. I deal with mental health as well as everything else. It is quite 50-50 mental health. People have been through abuse in their youth that are in their 40s and 50s that are dealing with complex PTSD, with layered trauma. That's the kind of thing I do, along with, because it's all connected. It's the same kids that are being groomed in England that were being groomed in the children's homes in Northern Ireland. You know what the politicians were doing in the 70s. We were singing the songs about it. Cecil Smith, Jimmy Savile. They're all compromised. Each one are compromised. Each layer of the establishment compromise each other so they work for the ones that they're trying to protect. And this happened in our children's homes when I was a child. And it's now happening again to kids. And these kids, it's the kids from children's homes that are being attacked in England. It's not the affluent areas. It's not the leafy areas. It's not the rich. It's our most vulnerable parents who can't cope, who lose their kids, go in the car, and then they get groomed by Pakistani Muslim, mostly Pakistani Muslim men. And then it's the big problem. It's the way it was silenced, how they're treating Tommy Robinson, And as we go forward, all this stuff will stay still because it's the past, and that's when we'll see it very clearly, and that's when people are going to wake up. You understand what's happened is already happened. You can't change it. You can't change the past. What the government have done is showed us exactly what's coming to Ireland, and they couldn't have done any better for us to help us stop
anything like that happening in our country and your country. And the only way we can stop it is by coming together some way. I don't know how we're going to do it. We have ideas and it is coming. Please believe me, it's coming. But we will come together and we will be united and we will take down every politician that goes along with irregular immigration and bringing people into this country who do not integrate into our society and cause problems to our women and our children. We will bring the governments down and we will replace them with our government. No two ways about it. No, not in the States. This hasn't gone on for years. We've been trying to do this. Our communities have been trying to do this for years. We've got problems with the establishment because they want to keep us divided. We've got problems that you wouldn't even cover. Okay, we know that, but we will cover it. We obviously we have a problem with the freedom of speech, but we are addressing that. We've got X, and hopefully Elon Musk will bring out another YouTube channel where everybody will be safer and be able to communicate freely and tell everybody what's going on. So, because the public need to be aware. You should be writing about how shocked you are of how many children have been abused in England and how the social work and the police and the government have covered it up. That's what you should be covering. There should be nothing else on your minds right now but to protect your own children that you're going to have and the children that your children are going to have. That should be the only thing. I understand it must be it's difficult for you to see an ex-loyalist, but we're all human beings. Everybody changes. You had no problems when you had ex-IRA men representing communities politically. You know what I mean? So what's the problem with me? I'm not the worst guy in the world. I've never killed anybody. I'm going to heaven when I die. I'm a Christian. Everything I've done, I know I'm going to be forgiven for. And that doesn't make any sense. You're talking as if I'm committing a crime. How can you put bank robbery and my stance against irregular immigration of Muslim men coming into this country and decimating our children? What? That's nuts. It's not anti-immigration. Why are you saying that? I'm not saying anti-immigration. Well, we want refugees. We've been living with people from all around the world, no problem. Sikhs, Polish, Russians, Ukrainians, not a problem. And all of a sudden, we've got a lot of people coming from Muslim countries. Muslim countries are kicking these people out of prisons. Other Muslim countries don't want them. Israel have got 3 fences up next to Palestine to make sure they don't get in there. And we've got Sinn Féin and dissidents in this country wanting them to come into the Catholic areas in Belfast because of the romanticism of the PLO in the 80s. You know what I mean? It's not about, it's about dangerous men coming to this country that do not share the values of us. They admit it in court. When they're sentenced that it's their culture. It's what they do. They rape girls. That's what they do. They admitted it in court. I can bring you the proof. We have the receipts to everything I say. I've got 500 videos on YouTube, and I've got the receipts to every single thing I say. I'm not a journalist. I'm not even that intelligent. You know what I mean? I've just got a daughter, and I'm worried about the future of my country. That's it. So that's all I care about. I'm a patriot and I travel to different demos to understand what's going on the street because you aren't reporting the truth in your newspapers. So we have to go to these places to find out what's actually going on in the likes of Letterkenny, Donegal, all these places where you're putting all these people in there. All of a sudden they're videoing and women are being followed and babies are trying to be snatched off women and you are silent about it all. So we're hearing it online. So we have to go down. Somebody's got to go down and understand it. I've got to understand what's happening next door in my country. Just like what I've done in England. I've went up and down the breadth of England at demos and Scotland. And it's horrifying. Ireland's bad. But please believe me, if you want to fucking do a bit of journalism, go to England, travel about Oldham, Luton, Wrexham, Rotherham, Rochdale, London. Go as a woman, wear a short skirt and show some shoulder and see how long you last. That's Britain now. That's England now. That's what you should be reporting about. Is that what you want in Ireland? Your women being attacked every time a woman goes out on a night out and she's wearing a short skirt, and a culture where that's okay to do that because they've no respect for our women. What do you expect us men to do? You know, what do you expect any man that has children to do when we're faced with that kind of horror? It's the most horrific thing that we've ever seen in our lives. 1,400 children in one city, raped and groomed and raped, while the police and the social work and the government knew about it and they couldn't do anything or say anything because they didn't want to offend Islam. This is England. They, I, I got arrested in Northern Ireland and took to Scotland for the bank robberies. And I got married in jail. Was married for 17 years. I lost my wife to COVID. And then just looking at what's been going on online, seeing that people getting sentenced, watch what happens in Southport, and basically I seen the way the government were treating people, and I thought, this is bad. If they're going to silence people, if that's their weapon, to silence people, to stop everybody knowing what's coming, then our weapon is to get as loud as possible. You know, that's as simple as that. And we're going to get louder. We're going to get bigger. And we're honestly, let's see what's coming. Let's see what's coming. The Belfast demo on Sunday wasn't big, but I can guarantee you there'll be hundreds and thousands of that just shortly. You know, yeah. Say it again. No, I'm back and forth. I'm only in Scotland. I never went to Dubai or anywhere like that. I come back and forth. It's like Scotland. Yeah. Scotland, Northern Ireland. Yeah, that's where me and my wife lived in Scotland. But I'm still back and forth. I've still got my friends and what I class as family, even though I don't have really any family apart from my daughter. But people I grew up with, my friends, I class them as my brothers and sisters. And it's at them. And right now, I'm making new brothers and sisters, and they're Catholics, and it's the first time in my life. You know what I mean? And it's amazing. And I've met. If you go onto my YouTube and you read the comments from the Irish people of Ireland, that should be enough for you. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, rather than trying to dig things out on me and trying to pick things out to bring a man down, is trying to do something good for everybody. Please just go and do your own research. Well, I hope you can. I hope you can return that with your article. Okay, I look forward to it. All right, thank you. Right, bye bye. Bye bye.